A lot of conversation going on. I hate to interrupt because it seems lively. But at any rate, we have to get down to business. Let's start with roll call.
Councilmember Deschler. Councilmember Kaiser.
Here.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Here.
Councilmember Parsons.
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Banks. Councilmember Budaszewski.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody sit.
What?
Illness?
Is what?
Illness on the council, or
One for sure.
one for sure?
Yep. So we have an agenda in front of us, looking for a motion to pass the agenda. Nancy?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, looking for a second?
I'll second.
Therese? Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. So we have a couple appearances today. Tiffany Kovaleski, could you please step forward and start with your presentation on Beyond the Yellow Ribbon?
Good
Welcome.
evening.
Good evening.
Tiffany Kovaleski, new resident of Robbinsdale. Unfortunately, I was a 10-year resident of Crystal, and it is very different when I was presenting over in Robbinsdale to say I was a resident over there. But they apparently there's a little bit of a rivalry going on.
There may be, whenever we meet.
I wasn't really sure of that. Anyways, thank you for having me tonight. I am the new president of the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Quad community. And before I give you kind of just a brief update of where we're going, I just want to say thank you to the City of Crystal, especially Julie Deschler, for all of her hard work that she has put forth, and all of you, because I know that it is a rigorous process to get an action plan actually put together. It takes a couple of years generally. So before I tell you of the way that things are moving forward, I definitely want to just say thank you for all of the insight and all of the hard work that has gone into it to date, because we don't want to discredit any of that, because we wouldn't be here without it. With that being said, this is the last of the 4 cities to do the proclamation of it, which we are very grateful for. And we are going to be looking at doing things a little bit differently to make sure that we're being inclusive of our military connected. And that goes for all veterans, service members of every branch, their families and caretakers. On a day job, I am a contractor with the Department of Defense, and I help with the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon community statewide. So it only seemed to fit naturally on my civilian side that in my backyard I get involved with this nonprofit. And so since then, we have changed things at the state level to make sure that continuity, sustainability, liability, those kinds of things are being at the forefront of every community. We have about 96 within the state, and we are very unique that we have 4 different communities, and we are going to be a little bit more encompassing with Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center, as theirs has fallen stagnant, and it is the local armory nearest to us, so we want to make sure that we're being inclusive of our neighboring cities. But one thing that Beyond the Yellow Ribbon was doing was more emergency services, and that's definitely not what we want to be doing, because we have those types of resources already in place, and we want to make sure that we're properly vetting everybody, because we are seeing some discrepancies and just some things that we didn't want to be dealing with, that we wanted to make sure that the subject matter experts were dealing with. So what we're really wanting to be doing is really building a community around our military connected and making sure that we're here with them mind, body, and soul. So some of the examples are recently meeting with the Robbinsdale School District and making sure that they're aware of our military kids. So whether it's pre-deployment, deployment, or post-deployment, we want to make sure that we're supporting them. So we're sitting with the Department of Education and doing policy change, and we're sitting with our local districts and making sure that we're supporting them in every way that we can. We also want to make sure that we're going into, our police and our fire and whatnot, and extending it out to our first responders as well. And so the local school district is coming and sitting at the table with us to say, how can we better collaborate across the entire district, both pre-K through 12, and then honoring our graduates and making sure that our graduating seniors are coming back to our community with open arms versus just leaving, not going to college maybe initially, and coming back and then still having that community where their peers might be off doing other things. We want to make sure that they're here along with their parents to make sure that they're within a community, because it can be pretty nerve-wracking if your child signs on the dotted line to go and serve the country. So that's one example. The other, I could actually talk all night about this. So what I'll do is just always offer the extension to you and to anyone listening or here today to attend our quarterly meetings. And we're just getting those started. The Crystal VFW has been kind enough to say that they will host those, and they also provide a free lunch. So if anyone wants a free lunch, that's always a great way to come, and it's a little bit of an incentive. So you can find out more about those dates on our Facebook page. It's B2R Quad, and then that's also our Gmail is b2rquad@gmail.com. So some of the services that we provide for any of your constituents would be making sure that if they need help with lawn mowing, snow shoveling, those kinds of just basic needs, especially during deployment, or if you're a veteran and you're a little bit more well-seasoned in age and are needing some help, working with our local Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and whoever it is that can get the other community members. So you might see me with a shovel or a bag of goods or whatever rolling around, just like Julie Deschler, but we also want to make sure that we're inclusive of bridging the generation gaps and making everyone with the community involved. So get involved. We're looking for volunteers always, whether that's if you like to help with events, if you like to donate any type of goods, volunteer your time, whether it's gardening, whatever it is, or taking someone grocery shopping, or just simply bringing a Starbucks and a $20 gift card to Target could brighten anybody's day. So we're here, and that's how you can get a hold of us and keep track. We're going to be doing a little bit more or a lot more within the community with the events. We're just making sure that we are showing that we are military proud and supportive here in the community. Pending any questions, that's all that I have for you tonight.
All right. Thank you, Tiffany. Are there questions for Tiffany?
I just have a comment. I really enjoyed the fundraiser, the bowling fundraiser. It was a huge turnout. And can you tell us how successful that was?
Yes, we raised almost $6,000 in one afternoon. And again, Julie Deschler put in a lot of man hours to that. She is now retiring, and we were shadowing her throughout the day. And so we really are thankful for anybody that comes out and participates in that. Mm-hmm. Just last week, we had a local service member who was just transitioning out of active duty Army back to Minnesota. Unfortunately, he was in significant pain and had been subscribed some painkillers and then became addicted and had a roommate here. And while he put himself through treatment, the roommate moved out, and then all of his belongings were gone. So we contributed hats and jacket, mittens, and then got him Cub Food gift cards. And so you just never know. I know that hard knocks have fallen on my life, on a lot of the people that I know life, and you never know. But it's not necessarily just for hard knocks either. It's also just to have that all-encompassing community like that event was.
Right.
And yes, Nancy, it was fantastic seeing you there, and I am now, because of you, going to buy bowling shoes.
Oh, good. I loaned them to Julie, too, didn't I?
Yes.
Nice.
It was nice
good.
to see you there.
You too. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to read the proclamation, the City of Crystal Proclamation. It's affirming the
Crystal commitment to the Quad Cities Beyond the Yellow Ribbon initiative. Whereas in 2014, the cities of Crystal, Golden Valley, New Hope, and Robbinsdale united to form the Quad Community Cities Beyond the Yellow Ribbon initiative. And whereas Beyond the Yellow Ribbon community unites key areas within the community to create a network that connects organizations, resources, employers to meet the needs of the local service members, veterans, and military families in Minnesota. And whereas this visible show of support enables successful transition for those affected by military deployment and builds a stronger, more compassionate community. And whereas the City of Crystal continues to support the Quad Communities Beyond the Yellow Ribbon initiative and agrees to be an active, ongoing participant to help the Quad communities maintain Beyond the Yellow Ribbon community official designation. Therefore now, I, Jim Adams, Mayor of the City of Crystal, do hereby affirm Crystal's support and active participation in the Quad City Beyond the Yellow Ribbon initiative, along with the cities of Golden Valley, New Hope, and Robbinsdale this 18th day of February. So, awesome. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for your service and volunteering. We need volunteers to be leaders in this realm. So there's a lot there in terms of, there's a lot of, you've covered a lot of it in terms of whether it be addiction, whether it be just regular needs or regular deployment. So we're grateful for your help and your ability to have organization within this organization. So thank you, Tiffany. All right. Next, we have another appearance. This is our police chief, Chief Revering. She's going to talk to us about the Medal of Merit and the Medal of Valor. So, welcome, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and thank you to Tiffany for coming tonight to recognize Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, and thank you to Council Member Nancy LaRoche for asking a question. And the reason why I'm saying that right now is because we were trying to get Officer Vang to hurry up to come from downtown at jail before he was recognized tonight, and he made it, as you can see he's here. So thank you both for doing your due diligence. As you know, Crystal police officers do outstanding work every single day to serve, protect, and assist those in the community who live, work, and worship here. Most of their work goes largely unrecognized, and we all understand that as a part of our job. However, there are many times when the actions of officers far surpass our normal motto of service with compassion, integrity, and professionalism. A cross-sectional team of police department personnel have been meeting for the last 7 months to revamp our department's awards program. The goal of this program is to make sure that department staff are recognized in tangible and meaningful ways for outstanding accomplishments related to things such as noteworthy calls and investigations, certifications, and years of service. As a part of this tangible recognition, we feel there are sometimes accomplishments that should be recognized in front of the City of Crystal City Council and community, which is why we are here tonight. I am honored to recognize 3 officers tonight whose work on a call has met that threshold. I ask Sergeant Brandon Dorr and Officer Vang to step forward. On September 22nd, 2019, officers were dispatched to an apartment in the 3000 block of Sumter Avenue for a welfare check. A family member called and reported they were concerned about a female family member who had been recently discharged from a hospital for a number of mental health issues. While this call is not an uncommon one for officers to respond to, this call was unusual in that it was reported that the female's 2-year-old child was also in the apartment. Officers responded to the scene and were able to make contact with the female party through her apartment door. After talking with her through the door for a while, officers determined they believed the female and the child were not in imminent danger. Based on the information they had, officers did not feel it appropriate or necessary to force the apartment door and further upset the already frustrated female, so they cleared the scene. A few hours later, officers were called back to the apartment at the request of Child Protection. Child Protection had received additional information and had made the determination that they felt the child may be in danger and was in need of being removed from the apartment. Sergeant Brandon Dorr and Officers Txheng, Vang, Rob Hodge, Antoine Martin, and Armando Valenzuela arrived at the apartment and, after being briefed by the child protection employee, again attempted contact through the door. As officers began speaking with her, they determined her attitude and comments had escalated from when they had previously had contact with her. She made comments that she would stab or throw hot water on whomever entered the apartment. Officers could hear the female sharpening knives, and she yelled, "Come on, I have sharpened all of my knives for each and every one of you." After trying for some time to convince her to open the door, officers made the decision to force the door open. As the door opened, the female ran away from the officers into the living room and grabbed the 2-year-old child. Officers attempted to deploy a taser on the female, but it had absolutely no effect. After grabbing her child, the female sat down on the floor with her child sitting on her lap. She placed the tip of a large butcher knife into the center of the child's chest. As officers yelled at her to drop the knife, the female said, "I'll kill him if you guys come any closer. No one is taking him away from me." She made a number of other nonsensical statements that reinforced to officers her current mental health crisis. Officers correctly worked to calm and slow the situation down to get the female to begin talking with them. Sergeant Dorr immediately began trying to connect with the female to get her to talk to him. She was very reluctant and said she was not going to talk while there were guns pointed at her. Sergeant Dorr instructed officers to lower their weapons and continued to try and talk with her. The female continued to say she wasn't convinced that Sergeant Dorr didn't have any weapons on him and wasn't going to talk to him. To develop trust with the female, Sergeant Dorr eventually made the decision to put himself at great risk by removing his duty belt, bulletproof vest, and shoes. This worked, and the female allowed Sergeant Dorr to kneel down near her, and he was able to talk with her. Sergeant Dorr facilitated the discussion with help from officers and a family member, and negotiations with the female lasted for approximately 75 minutes. 75 minutes. Officer Hodge was the cover officer for Sergeant Dorr, and after being instructed to holster his weapon, remained in a tactical position to respond with some type of force if the female put anyone at more increased danger. The responsibility of the cover officer in a situation like this cannot be understood, and there is a very challenging and tiring role. He was required to be completely and unwaveringly focused for over an hour and ready to respond in a split second if the situation changed at all. While Sergeant Dorr was talking with the female, Officer Vang was standing as a second officer at a different angle for much of the negotiation. As the negotiation continued, Officer Vang was able to slowly move closer to the female as they talked, and she became more trusting of the officers trying to help her. As Officer Vang got close enough, other officers observed that he had his tactical gloves on and was moving towards her. After about an hour and 15 minutes, Officer Vang had moved close enough that while the female was looking towards the other officers, he lunged towards the female and grabbed the knife. Officer Vang was able to grab the knife and pull it away from her. Sergeant Dorr and Officers Hodge, Martin, and Valenzuela were then able to safely wrestle the child from her grip and get her safely on a gurney for transport to the hospital. Their collective actions resulted in no injuries to the child, the female, or themselves. The child was taken into protective custody, and the female was sent to the hospital for mental health crisis. The Crystal Police Department Law Enforcement Medal of Valor is presented to department personnel for an act which results in the saving of a life or an act involving risk to a member which is performed above and beyond the call of duty. This award is presented for individual acts of heroism in the line of duty. We are excited tonight to award Officer Txheng Vang with this Law Enforcement Medal of Valor for his actions of disarming the female during this incident. The Crystal Police Department Award of Merit is presented to department personnel for an extraordinary act, achievement, or accomplishment during the performance of their normal duties. We are excited to award Sergeant Brandon Dorr with the Award of Merit for his negotiations in close proximity and exemplary leadership of his team during this incident. Congratulations. So officers, I want to tell you two officers, Hodge couldn't be here tonight, and officers Antoine Martin and Valenzuela will also be recognized within the department for exceptional performance regarding this difficult incident. So we normally recognize our officers, as you know, at our May department meeting. We hold our meeting annually during Police Week. But we wanted to make sure that we had these officers in front of you tonight before that meeting, so you understand the heroism that they do every single day for you and your residents in the community, and the importance of what it is that, and how proud I am and humbled to lead this organization and what they do for all of us. So again, thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. As you know, they have family members in the audience. Investigator Julie Dorr is Brandon's wife, and his two children are here, Caleb and Connor. And there she is. There's King's wife. I was like, where'd she go? She's right behind me. So this is very important to not just our police department, but it's also important to their families. So thank you for allowing us to recognize them tonight. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. It's very important to our community, too. You know, whenever the chief comes here, it's always kind of mundane to move on to business when she leaves. But we love her visits, and it's just a testament, and it's an honor for us to be able to help serve such a committed force. So we appreciate that too. We are moving on to our consent agenda. I will read that into the record at this time. First item is an approval of minutes from the following meetings. That includes the council meeting from February 4th and the work session from that same date. Approval of a license application or license applications submitted by the city clerk to the city council. That list is on file in her office. And then approval of a resolution accepting the following donations: $1,000 from Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union for Becker Park Playground, and $1,000 from the Kolb family for the same. Thank you for your generous gifts from an individual. That's an awesome, amazing gift, so we thank the Kolb family for that, specifically being private. Approval of an updated donation policy. Approval of a resolution authorizing a community development block grant application to fund improvements for the North Lions Park. And approval of a summary of closed council work session from February 13th, 2020 for the purpose of evaluating performance of the city manager. That is our consent agenda. Looking for a motion on that. John?
So moved.
All right, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Thanks, Therese. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Do we have anyone here wishing to speak during open forum? It is time for open forum, which is an opportunity for people to speak to the council and the public in our midst. Seeing nobody approach, we will go right by open forum. Remember, in the future, if you have something, you're welcome to come here and attend and join us. Next is our regular agenda. And first item is disbursements of $25,000 or greater, and I will read those into the record at this time. First item is Flagship Recreation LLC for the benches at Becker Park for $29,835. Ruffridge Johnson Equipment for new asphalt roller, $35,960. And Towmaster Inc. to build a new truck. They call it truck number 315. I'm not quite sure what that is. I forgot to look at the detail on that. $154,821. World Architecture and Engineer for public safety buildings schematic design, $36,195. Health Partners for health insurance premiums for February, $129,091. Minnesota Para for pay date 2/7/20 for employee and city required contributions, $62,819. Total distributions of $25,000 or greater is $443, 721. Let me try that again. $443,721.88. And that is our total disbursements. Questions on any one of these items? Seeing none. Looking for a motion on that, John?
I'll make a motion approving the list of disbursements over 25,000.
All right, thank you. Olga?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Reading numbers, always fun. Next, the council will consider approval of a resolution for purchasing a picnic shelter. We have our Recreation Director, John Elholm, to address the council on that. Welcome, John.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. We're here, while there still might be snow on the ground, we're looking forward to next summer and some of our projects we have on the way. And the first of those is a picnic shelter at Iron Horse Park. Just a little bit of refresher, back in 2017, we did a park system master plan where we looked at all the parks within the city of Crystal, and Iron Horse Park is no exception. That was one of the parks in that document. And some of the things that came out of that plan include the idea of removing the hockey rink, improving the connection of green space, which you see on the left side of the screen, and the wooded area to the right, as well as adding some trails and picnic tables. Shortly thereafter, in 2018 and 19, there was a discussion of sale of surplus property. And part of the reason for that was that land, selling underutilized land could help fund park capital, and funds could be used for improvements right at Iron Horse Park. So some of the ideas that came out of that included adding a picnic shelter and trails. Shortly thereafter, a concept plan was developed that looked at what could be at Iron Horse Park. And this plan does talk about removing the hockey rink, adding a picnic shelter and paved trails, leaving the play area and basketball court where they are. And then this plan was reviewed at a public meeting at Iron Horse Park back in July of last year. So moving on to 2020, looking to start work on the picnic shelter first. It is a 20 by 20 structural steel frame with a standing seam metal roof, very similar to what you see down at Yonkers Park. That was a shelter built a number of years ago. Tongue and groove pine ceiling, and then a gable and sunburst design. And we believe we can get the city logo on the end of that, so that's what we're looking to do. We did solicit 4 quotes, the lowest being from Minnesota Wisconsin Playground in the amount of $29,949. You can see the others on the screen. The budget for this, for the picnic shelter, which includes the concrete, lights, and some other things, is about $70,000. So there are some additional things that are yet to be purchased. But the first thing is to get the shelter purchased. So the recommendation tonight is to approve a resolution entering into an agreement with Minnesota Wisconsin Playground to provide and install a 20-foot by 20-foot picnic shelter at Iron Horse Park in the amount of $29,949. Are there any questions?
Questions for John? Nancy?
John, is this similar to the shelter that was put in, the name of the park just went right
Yonkers?
out of my head, Yonkers Park. Is it similar to that?
Very similar to that. I think it's a little bit smaller.
Okay. Room
But,
for picnic tables? Like
Right, I think
20.
this is a 4 picnic table
Oh,
shelter.
nice. Okay.
And then we put a grill outside of it like we did at Yonkers as well.
Very good. It's nice to see that park coming back to life, too.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah, a designated park. It's nice
Absolutely.
that it has that designation as well.
Yeah.
So, very good. Any other questions? Olga?
No question, but I can move approval.
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve the resolution to purchase a picnic shelter from Minnesota Wisconsin Playground for Iron Horse Park.
All right, thank you. Nancy?
I'll second.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So that is our agenda for this week. We do have some announcements, however. The Crystal Business Association will be meeting Wednesday, February 19th at 8:30 a.m. Location is at St. Therese on Bass Lake Road. It's 8000 Bass Lake Road. Hennepin County is also hosting a community feedback session on the Botno corridor planning efforts on Thursday, February 20th. It goes from 6 to 8 o'clock, and that's at the Robbinsdale City Hall. Due to presidential nomination primary elections on May 3rd, the March City Council meeting will be shifted a week forward to March 10th and the 24th. So those both are being shifted forward at 7 p.m. here at City Hall. The Bowling for Canine Officer Leo fundraiser is Sunday, March 15th. Registration begins at 10:30 and it goes up till about 2 p.m. at New Hope Bowl. The second annual Cheers to Crystal fundraiser is Friday, March 20th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Community Center. Tickets are available at www.cheerstocrystal.com. That's been a fun event, and that's put on by the Crystal Fund. And local organizations are invited to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Please contact any staff member and they will give you information on how to make that happen. Reminder to everyone that the work session and the council meetings are available for listening and viewing on our website. That's www.crystalmn.gov. Do we have any other announcements? Nancy?
This is one through Crystal Rec, and since it's coming up, I think, before our next council meeting, John's up here too, but Family Fun Night is coming up on Friday, March 6th, 6 to 8:30. It's very, very popular. Great way for kids to burn off energy, getting cabin fever like all of us. And is there anything new this year, John, about this? Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Bouncy items, running an inflatable hamster ball. That's my favorite to watch. And there's a bungee run on bouncers provided by Bounce on Air. That sounds new this year. Game of bingo and win prizes. Crystal Frolics will be there for the button design contest for kids that want to start creating great designs for that. Anything else, John?
Well, I was going to say you covered it very well. All I can add is it's going to be a very fun event, and we encourage people to come out.
Yeah, and I think you get a discount if you prepay for a ticket, right? Or reserve tickets early, and I'm sorry I have it in front of me and you don't. But concessions will be sold. Advanced registration deadline is March 1st, so you get a discount. And I'm not seeing a price here, but I know it's really cheap. It's like $5 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't recall off the top of my head.
But it's a great time for kids and a really, really good price, and you can get a discount if you register early.
Sure, and I'm sure it should all be on the website as well.
Yeah, look for Crystal Recreation on Facebook. You'll find the event there too. Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other announcements? Seeing none, how about a motion to adjourn? John?
So moved.
All right.
I'll
Nancy?
second.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. We are adjourned. Have a great night.
Sounded like you.